Good morning, students. I hope you all are fine and following all the classes regularly. So we have already started a new poem, Birches by Robert Frost, and in our previous class we have learned up to line number 27. Now today we will start from line 28. Before I start today's part, I know you all have already gone through the text, but I just wanted to make you be into it. So we have learned up to the part where we found that the poet was swinging between his own fanciful imaginative thoughts and actual reality. Though reality or the personified truth was somehow putting obstacle into his thought of his imaginative all his imaginative paths and thinkings between the fact that the arches were bent due to those some of the boys who played by swinging on them, but the actual reason is due to the heavy ice the birches were bent. So the poet himself, rather, though he knew the fact, but he chose to continue with his own imagination. All right, so let us start from today's part, that is line number 28 and page number 10. One by one, he subdued his father's trees by riding them down over and over again until he took the stiffness out of them. Here the speaker imagines that the boy, they were to found they were using their father's own property. Those birches were it was a devised game to them, and to ride on them was a devised game to them. And those boys, they thought they found to ride those trees were much thrilling and interesting, and they found it was they possess that it's their right to ride on them, okay, again and again, until he took the stiffness out of them, until he makes those trees those stiffness is taken away from that those plants, okay, or those trees, okay, until they take away the stiffness. And not one but hung limp, not one was left for him to conquer. And they will not stop until or unless they ride all those trees. Okay, they were ready to, as if it was a bit of challenging game to them, and they need to conquer all of those trees and to take away their stiffness. He learned all there was to learn about not launching out too soon, and so not carrying the tree away clear to the ground. And by much practice they have learned the art of riding those trees, and they know they can maintain the perfect balance as well. Okay, when the boy, he reaches at the top and again comes back at the with the same kind of feelings, as well as same sort of ease and movement, until or unless they touch the ground as well. Okay, he always kept his poise to the top branches, climbing carefully with the same pains you use to fill a cup up to the brim and even above the brim. Here the poet has compared the way they ride those trees. It's compared to filling up a cup. Okay, means with same carefulness and with the same skillfully and precisely as a person fills up a cup up to its brim. In the same manner, those boys were apt enough to ride those or to climb those trees. All right. So here as I told you all, that here you will find that there is a comparison between the cup and to filling up a cup and riding those trees. All right. Of course, it's metaphorically compared. Now let us move forward. Then he thumped outward, feet first with a swish, kicking his way down through the air to the ground. So was I once myself a swinger of barges. Here the poet says that once after reaching the top, the boy he again, or those boys, they again flings themselves outward. All right, and means by stretching their feet and kicking on the same ground, they reach up to the top again. Okay, so they are quite, as it is told, the way the means these lines are written out, these lines rather, as it's already mentioned, those lines actually they convey the sense of victory or triumph over something that the poet means the poet from the perspective of the poet, we find that means the imaginative world of the poet actually takes possession of the reality, okay, or the real reason behind those means behind bending of those birches. All right. So was I once myself a swinger of birches. Here we find that the poet is he is recollecting past, okay, his own period of adolescence when he used to ride birches. And so I dream of going back to be. Okay, the poet once again wants to get back to those days. Okay, it's when I'm weary of considerations and life is too much like a pathless wood where your face burns and tickles with the cobwebs broken across it. Now here, it's when I'm weary of consideration, means when the real world is full of confusion and as well as apprehension. Now means whereas the imaginative here, as it is compared, you will find that the real world is full of confusion, apprehension, whereas imaginative world is full of peace. So this, in the same way, the poet wants to get back to those days of his own adolescence. And here the pathless wood as well as cobwebs, these two words are actually symbolic of confusion or complexity or some type of obstacles a person finds in his or her life, or bafflement in a man's life. Okay, and pathless wood metaphorically signifies complexity of life, as I told. So, and life is too much like a pathless wood, means when life is full of confusion, it's means full of complexities. Okay, where your face burns and tickles with the cobwebs broken across it, means you do not have any other way out except facing those challenges or obstacles or confusions. All right. And one eye is weeping from a twigs having lashed across it open. I would like to get away from earth a while and then come back to it and begin over. So when life is it's completely scattered or full of confusion and full of burden, it's loaded, in that case the poet wants to go back those days again. So here the poet does not want to go or to live this life permanently. Okay, rather he wants a momentary escape so that he can get back means he can collect energy or fuel to continue with the same line. So here the poet only wants to leave this world earth a while. Okay, means he wants to escape for a while, not permanently. Okay, rather he wants to avoid the negative impulses of life. Okay, and means that impede the development of a person's soul. So the poet wants to, that's why the poet wants to get a momentary escape, and he again wants to come back to these days, means after a momentary escape he wants to get back to the original world of reality, where he has no other way rather to continue his life. Okay, so again here in this line, and then come back to it and begin over. Here also we find the escapist mood of the poet. Okay, and this is quite dominant because of the vexations of life. Okay, may no fate willfully misunderstand me, and half grant what I wish, and snatch me away not to return. And he wishes he will definitely get back to this world, because earth's the right place for love. Okay, that this line once again, earth is the right place for love. This line once again establishes that the poet wants momentary escape, not permanent, because he finds this earth this earth to be the only place where a person can get love or can sustain. All right, sustain with. I don't know where it's likely to go better, because he considers this earth to be the best place. I'd like to go by climbing a birch tree and climb black branches up a snow white trunk towards heaven. Now heaven actually it indicates three things. First is a world of fanciful imagination, as well as its escape from reality, as well as heaven can indicate a person's aspirations. Okay, person's idealism, aspirations or goals of life. So the poet wants to once again ride those trees to reach near to heaven. Means he wants momentary escape for a while, and he wants to continue with his fanciful world, his world of imagination, till the tree could bear no more, and he will ride the tree up to means that much. When the tree will up to the mark, the tree will be able to bear his weight. But dipped its top and set me down again, and the tree will be when the tree will not be able to hold him anymore, and it will return him back to the ground. So once again we can understand that the poet wants a momentary escape for a while, but he always wants to get back to this world. Okay, because he thinks that he will enjoy his momentary escape only when it's confirmed that he will get back to this mundane world. So here also the same thing we find as we found stopping by the woods on a snowy evening, where the poet says that he will definitely go, but it's evident that he will have to come back, because he has miles to go before he sleeps. So means certain tasks are there, certain responsibilities are there that will not allow him to go permanently. So here also the poet provides a similar kind of feelings, like he will definitely ride those trees to get back a flashback of his adolescence period, or his the days when he used to ride birches. But he will definitely, the birches may take him near to heaven. It may be a ride to his the world of his fanciful imagination, or a certain escape from the reality. But at the end, or even his goals, aspirations, or idealism, whatever you term, but at the end he wants to get back to this ground, to get back to ground or this mundane world. That would be good, both going and coming back. That means to remain here, he makes a perfect blend of imagination and reality. Okay, so that would be good, both going and coming back. One could do worse than being a swinger of birches. Means there must be a balance between a man's world of work, as well as a person's means his work on this earth, as well as the spiritual aspirations. That, as I told, it's a perfect blend of realism and idealism we find here. So the poet wants that there is nothing means there will be, life will be meaningless if a person doesn't have the ability to ride birches. Means if the person cannot think or imagine or has the person's own world of imagination, life would be completely dull. A person cannot see, it's evident you need to get escape moment, whether it be momentary or for a while, in order to get the fuel to get into your own work. So this is all about the poem Birches. In this I have completed the text today. From next week onwards, we will be discussing on certain question answers and certain and regarding the theme, and everything will be discussed. For this, while making you understand the text, I have already discussed the figure of speeches, and apart from this, specifically study material will be provided focusing on this theme, structure, figure of speech, and certain question answers. So back to this class, we have live class. So if you want, or anywhere, I want all of you to go through the poem once again, and if you find any problem, we can have a discussion in our live class all about this. Okay, so this much for today. Thank you, students. Have a nice day.